Hey, what's up, everyone? Today we are taking a trip down memory lane to look at one of the most successful sitcoms of all time, The Big Bang Theory. For 12 amazing seasons, we lived in apartment 4A with a group of geniuses who knew everything about the universe, but absolutely nothing about real life. From the broken elevator to the Nobel Prize, this show changed TV forever. I'm going to break down the best moments, the character growth, and why we still can't get enough of Sheldon Cooper and the gang. Let's dive into the story. In the beginning, nobody thought Sheldon Cooper would ever find a partner. He was like a robot in a human suit. But then came Amy Farah Fowler. Their relationship, famously known as Shammy, started as a cold intellectual contract. One of the funniest moments was when Amy first challenged Sheldon's ego by calling his work cute compared to her work in neurobiology. What made them great wasn't just the science, it was watching Sheldon slowly, very slowly, become human. From their first paradigm shift to the moment Sheldon finally realized he couldn't live without her, their chemistry was a secret weapon of the show. It proved that there is someone for everyone, even if you're a physicist who hates being touched. Now, we have to talk about the character we never actually saw but always heard, Mrs. Wolowitz. Howard's relationship with his mother was pure comedy gold. Howard is a literal astronaut, a man who went to the International Space Station, yet he still gets yelled at for not wearing a sweater or for his choice in women. The space phone call is a classic. Imagine being in orbit, looking at the beauty of the Earth and having your mother scream at you over a grocery list. It highlighted a major theme. No matter how high you go in life, your family will always be there to keep your feet on the ground. When the show started, Penny was the ultimate outsider. She was the aspiring actress who didn't know a proton from a protein. But over time, she became the heart of the group. She taught Leonard how to be confident. She taught Sheldon how to be social. And she taught the whole group that street smarts are just as important as book smarts. The dynamic during their game nights is the perfect example. The guys would try to use complex physics to solve a simple Pictionary drawing, while Penny would just look at it and see a chocolate chip cookie. That contrast between high-level intelligence and everyday common sense is what made the show so relatable to everyone watching at home. Raj Koothrappali had one of the most interesting journeys. Remember when he couldn't even speak to women without a drink in his hand? Watching him find his voice, literally, was a huge milestone for his character. Even though he often ended up as the lonely one in the group, his bromance with Howard remained the most solid relationship in the show. Whether they were forming a goth band or fighting over the same girl, their friendship was the ultimate bromance, showing that sometimes your best friend is the most important person in your life. One of the biggest impacts of The Big Bang Theory was how it brought geek culture into the spotlight. Before this show, things like Comic-Con, Star Wars marathons, and Dungeons & Dragons weren't cool in the mainstream. The show celebrated the passion of being a fan. Whether they were fighting over a limited edition sword or arguing about the timeline logic in Back to the Future, it made us realize that being a nerd just means you're passionate about something. It gave a voice to everyone who ever felt like an outcast and showed that having a hobby you love is something to be proud of. We can't do a review without talking about the man himself, Sheldon Cooper. Jim Parsons' performance was a masterclass. The way he delivered those long, scientific monologues with a straight face was incredible, but it was the physical comedy that really sold it. Think about the bazingas, the 3 knocks on the door, and the soft kitty song. Sheldon was annoying, arrogant, and difficult, but we loved him anyway because underneath all that logic, he was just a guy trying to figure out a world that didn't always make sense to him. His growth from a robotic individual to a man who can truly love his friends is the real heart of the series. As we reach the end of the story, we have to talk about the finale. Seeing Sheldon and Amy win the Nobel Prize for superasymmetry was the perfect payoff for 12 years of character development. But it wasn't the prize that mattered, it was Sheldon's speech. For the first time, he put his ego aside and thanked his friends. He realized that his achievements were only possible because of the people around him. It was a beautiful, tear-jerking conclusion to a decade of laughter, reminding us that no man is an island. So why do we still watch reruns today? Because at its core, The Big Bang Theory is a story about a found family. It's about a group of people who are differently abled socially, but found a place where they belong. It taught us that you don't have to change who you are to find love or success. You just have to find your tribe. That's my take on the legacy of the show. It's a series that started with a big bang and ended as a permanent part of our lives. What was your favorite moment from the show? Was it the time Sheldon got drunk on Long Island teas? Or when Howard dressed up as Sheldon for Halloween? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this trip through TV history, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and as Sheldon would say, bazinga! See you in the next one.
We've all had that one professor who thinks they're God's gift to science. But nobody, and I mean nobody, does academic arrogance like Dr. Sheldon Cooper. Today, we're breaking down the time Sheldon decided to grace doctoral candidates with his wisdom, only to realize that the internet is a very cruel place. Visual cue. Show clip of Sheldon